To give everybody an update on the allegations that have surfaced over this past week of police misconduct within the Police Explorers program, specifically sexual misconduct. With the suit coming out last week and me reading the suit and seeing the allegations in there, for everybody that's been paying attention to this case, obviously it's been horrifying to think of the potential abuse of these young folks by these men in uniform and positions of authority. So my theme throughout all of this is that there will be no stone left unturned for us to get to the truth. Right after we read the suit, on the following Monday, I asked for the suit to be unsealed, and then I also said we were going to suspend the Explorers program until we can get to the bottom of this. Today, in keeping with the no stone unturned to get to the truth, we're making two announcements. One is the alleged misconduct in this suit can be a violation of federal law. Accordingly, we contacted the local FBI office today, special agent in charge, and asked them to proceed with the criminal investigation. Secondly, I'm bringing on a special investigator, Mr. Kerry Harvey, former U.S. attorney, 7 years for the Eastern District of Kentucky, has both prosecuted and defended police, so he knows the police world. He's also prosecuted Tim Longmire, Keith Hall, Richie Farmer, so he understands local law, state law, federal law, and has an impeccable reputation. What I just want to guarantee the public on this is we will be as open and transparent as we can be throughout this, within the realms of any kind of a legal restriction. But as you know, transparency has always been first and foremost to me, and I will continue to report back to you as this case develops.
Tonight, we begin with a Wave 3 News exclusive. We've learned of another Louisville Metro police officer accused of inappropriate behavior in the department's youth training program. Thanks for joining us. I'm Shannon Kogan.
And I'm Scott Reynolds. This one happened 3 years ago. We want to get right to Wave 3 News reporter Eric Flack. Eric, this is information just coming in that you've learned.
Just coming in, Scott. Now, the attorney for LMPD officer Brandon Wood tells me he was notified last week Wood was being investigated by the department's Public Integrity Unit for alleged wrongdoing within the LMPD Youth Explorer program. Now, I've learned he is not the first LMPD officer accused of inappropriate behavior with the Explorers. In 2013, Officer Kenneth Betts was removed from his post as an associate advisor with the Youth Explorer program after he was accused of inappropriate behavior. That's according to the Boy Scouts of America, which partners with LMPD in the program. The Boy Scouts did not specify what the inappropriate behavior was, and tonight, LMPD would not comment, saying they stand by their statement from yesterday that allegations of our members involved in criminal wrongdoing are very concerning and something they take quite serious. Betts resigned from LMPD a year after that alleged incident. Now, at the time, Betts worked right alongside Officer Brandon Wood, the officer currently under investigation. And tonight, we have learned Wood has retained criminal defense attorney Steve Schroering to defend him. Schroering tells me Officer Wood maintains his innocence of any criminal activity. He says Wood was notified last week he was being investigated by the department's Public Integrity Unit. Now, that's the department's criminal investigative body when allegations are being leveled against officers. Wood has also been removed from the program and put on desk duty. Schroering says that Wood has also been stripped of many of his police powers during his investigation, and that is LMPD policy.
All right, Eric, thanks a lot.
Mayor calls in FBI after multiple cops in department accused of raping children. Louisville, KY Louisville Mayor Greg Fisher called allegations of sexual abuse and rape by police officers of children in the department's Youth Explorer program our worst nightmare and has now appealed to the FBI to open an investigation. If there has been an injustice, asserted the mayor, it will be remedied. A previous probe into the accusations by the Louisville Metro Police will also be subject to inquiry by former U.S. Attorney Kerry Harvey, whom Fisher hired to determine whether errors were made, including by top cop, Police Chief Steve Conrad. The allegations surrounding the Explorer program, if true, represent unacceptable conduct involving children, and the citizens of Louisville deserve to know what happened, Harvey avowed. Saying the FBI would have to determine whether or not to answer the call to investigate, Harvey surmised from news reports the allegations might constitute a federal violation of civil rights. According to local NBC affiliate LEX18, a lawsuit filed on behalf of a participant in the Youth Explorer program charges that his alleged rape by officers Kenneth Betts and Brandon Wood was concealed by department officials. Betts and Wood are accused of sexually assaulting the participant from 2011 through 2013 and recording the incidents to make pornography. David Yates, an attorney for the victim, noted the allegations. The now 22-year-old victim says officers used their position of authority to engage him in sexual acts when he was under the age of 18 constitute third-degree statutory rape. Betts had also been under investigation for alleged improper contact with a teenaged girl in the Explorer program until Conrad ended it upon the officer's resignation in 2014. Alarmingly, given the nature of the allegations, Wood remains active on the force, albeit in a limited, administrative capacity. Conrad reportedly said he's dying to discuss the case publicly, but has been barred from doing so by a court order sealing the lawsuit. Both the City of Louisville and the Courier-Journal have filed requests to unseal the case, which Fisher predicts will occur next week. Obviously I called for all the case to be unsealed so all the facts can be known on this, said the mayor, who also termed the allegations appalling. So to me it's all about transparency and accountability. So I'm looking at all kind of options here. Unsealing the lawsuit, in this case, comes with mitigating circumstances, particularly given the age of the victim at the time of the alleged rapes. Yates said he doesn't oppose unsealing the lawsuit as long as anything that identifies the victim is blacked out, WAVE3 reports. But Yates also said unsealing the lawsuit is not a simple process because all parties need to agree to it being unsealed, including LMPD Major Curtis Flaherty, who is being accused of failing to prevent the abuse from happening. With heightened attention given to the multi-pronged Youth Explorer investigation, the mayor faltered a bit when asked whether he retained confidence in the police chief, saying, "What is important is to get to the truth, and I think he agrees with that," but ultimately backed Conrad. David James, James Pedden, and 9 other council members had called for an outside agency to take up the investigation. James contended the probe must expand far beyond law enforcement, particularly as former police commanders now populate Fisher's administration. It's important we not just limit it to the police department, but knowing who knew what when, and wherever that goes is important, James asserted, according to the Courier-Journal. Image, http://pixel.watch/QT7. Pleased Fisher had turned to the FBI for assistance, Pedden nonetheless expressed ambivalence toward Harvey's involvement and questioned the cost of bringing on board a former U.S. attorney. "I've been doing this long enough to know if you hire someone to do studies or investigate, they come up with results you wanted them to find in the first place," the councilman remarked. "I think that's a waste of money." According to the Courier-Journal, both James and Pedden discussed the Youth Explorer program with Chief Conrad weeks before the filing of the lawsuit, and based on information from within the police department further allegations are likely. In the meantime, one former officer accused of raping a minor boy walks completely free of punishment as if rescinding the uniform, badge, and gun of the state absolves an individual of responsibility for any abhorrent behavior occurring on the taxpayer's dime. Worse, the second cop remains a paid and active employee again, thanks to the taxpayers though, granted, whatever the desk work, it likely won't put him in direct contact with children. The FBI has not yet given a statement in answer to the mayor's request. With the unsealing of the lawsuit anticipated as early as next week, this explosive case appears poised to bring the Louisville Metro Police under a piercing microscope. Pedden noted. If anything, Mayor Fisher finally realizes this has now extended beyond the boundaries of just a bad police officer.